Welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Jasveer Kaur Rababan. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Yogi of Sound, Professor Surinder Singh.
Satkartar.
Satkirtar Yogi ji. We're going to jump right into our questions because we have lots of questions. And we're going to follow on from what we were talking about last week. You shared with us an incident, something that you were reading maybe in social media about different, I'm going to say, castes of Sikhs and how they're being treated unequally. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
There are two types. One is lower caste. Caste word is used in Bani as well. Guru Sahib says Jat. Guru Sahib says Manas mean humans. Ki Jat, the caste of the humans. Sabha, the all of you. Ek hai pehchanbo. This is only one. There is only one caste amongst the humans is the humans. But then humans decided, no, there will be, we will be upper caste and there will be lower caste. And Sikhs, in practicing Sikhi, are no separate. In maybe lack of education, maybe, whatever the reasons, but they don't fall into the concept of Guru Sahib. So there was a Jathebandi. And in this Jathebandi, I've seen this post that if the Sikh is from a Rangareta clan, is the lower caste, and therefore the bhatta in the langar is not shared. That means Sikhi didn't happen. I mean, still there is a line which divides between a caste of humans, that there is a differences. What is the fault of a person who's born in a poor household? Nothing. Have no spiritual rights. Guru Sahib overruled that. Guru Sahib said, no, we are humans. That's it. There is only one caste. This is why the bhatta amongst the Sikhs, this bowl came in. The amrit is shared or given to one who is seeking, one who is given itself, its identity, its ego, its caste, its body, mind, and soul to Guru, will take a nectar, amrit, from this bhatta. But if you're still a Jat or still a Takhan, and the Rangareta is next to you, the bhatta will be shifted like this so you don't touch the same point, that you have Sucham and Jute system still inside you, that corruption which segregates you, makes you separate and different. There is already issue. You haven't given your head to Guru. So Sikhi will not flourish. And it's okay, nobody forces you to become a Sikh. It is your process. If you want to be pure, if you want to live a different lifestyle, and if you want to achieve that oneness, then Guru Sahib says the rule number comes number one is we being humans first, and exercises being put there in a place, and we refuse that. So the Jat of humans must be humans, and Guru Sahib giving a hug to those people will not even let them come close. I went to a function, I was invited into near Ludhiana. There is a village, and the different practitioners, I won't call them Sikhs, they're different in practice, Namtaris. They do tie a turban, they read Guru's Bani also, they do Kirtan, and they don't cut their hair. A lot of practices are very similar to the Sikhs, but they have a living Guru. Our living Guru is Sri Guru Granth Sahib. They have a person in physical body which they bow to. So I went to attend a function there, and there was a board written, there that the Harijan or Rangretas, they were separate lines and separate a box or line made for them to sit even in Sangat. And
Mm.
I'm talking just a couple of years back, and I just right there I couldn't breathe. I have to, this is like a primary problem for me as a Sikh. I had to step away. I learned this discrimination happens even in a langar, even in everyday life. So slavery is still there, and which my guru tried to uh, demolish. Like Guru Nanak Sahib, Khatriyan da Munda. He's from upper class and hanging around with the doom, the lower caste, Marasi, Baba Mardana ji. Baba Mardana ji became like Guru Sahib used to call him a pai because Baba Mardana ji, he was 11 years older than Guru Nanak Sahib. Guru Sahib always addressed Baba Mardana ji as a pai. And
Mm.
when my Guru doesn't have a problem, I go to Guru to learn. Who am I? It didn't work for me. That being Catholic, I'm not saying anything wrong with the Catholicism or Buddhist. I became a Sikh by choice. And in this school, I had to be okay and live as a human, not as a Takhan or Jat or this, you know. Guru make, in 1699 at Anandpur Sahib, when Guru gave Amrit, when Guru put this challenge and test as a process, there is a Chimba, there is a Jat, there is a Nai, but Guru makes them beloved, pyare. Guru gives them one bata and Guru gives them blessing. Isn't that good enough chapter for us to to we've been given a surname Singh and Kaur, but socially I don't see a problem when people use surname. It's okay, but in psyche, in when it comes to spiritual practices, we should be very clear that we are humans. Spiritual practices are for humans. You don't ask a dog to do such a thing, be in a maryada. The animal can't be in a maryada, only human can. But when you deny your human rights, when
Mm.
you refuse to see another human as a human, then forget about spirituality, forget about Sikhi, and forget about the Guru. You still have your ego, your knowledge, you're still carrying another boat on your head, which you think you're riding, but you're not. You're just carrying something which never worked for you, but you don't want to let go. It is that problem. So
Right.
Punjabi or German or Spanish, American, English, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you refuse to see yourself a human and you see yourself a white and you having privilege and abusing that is no different from a Jatta abusing Rangareta or Takhan refusing to mingle with the Rangareta. Or uh, when my Guru didn't use these words, that Black Life Matter, but when Guru saying Rangareta, Guru ka beta, actually translates exactly in the same way that there's no suppression. Guru's whole existence is a hakka praya nanaka usasur usgai, that the right, human rights, the spiritual practices, there can't be division and there will not be a division. So look, 239 years, Guru built that curriculum for us so that we can achieve that oneness within and in our outer world also. So I hope as a
Mm.
Sikh we don't refuse and we learn from the Guru.
Right. So that's the ideal. The ideal is to have oneness. That's what we all try to aspire to. It's why we try to educate ourselves and seek consciousness. But now the reality of our social framework, our Punjabi social framework, is that the caste system has entered our spiritual spaces as well. Like Gurudwara are labeled according to different castes, and the Punjabi music industry is just amplifying more this segregation. It's great to be Jat, and that's in almost every song, and that's become the new fashion. So how do we reclaim oneness and break away from this segregation?
Um, it's just, again, a very simple thing. This is a problem. This is a virus in a human's
Mhm.
brain. That it is not that you are born as a Jat will make you any difference. Have you actually met those Jats, actually the real Jats in India? They are living below the poverty line. There are so many suicides happening. There are people here who wanted some political and very selfish people, some, not all. They couldn't share the powers. They decided, okay, well, we will play this card, and it's so easy to play this card. And we are the Khans. We should be separate. There are cultural differences. There are always going to be. A British-born Sikh, even in a Punjabi family, have a very different culture from the Punjabi. So I want to share with you something. So I went to India after 9 or 10 years, and with me my um, Sandu, that is the word. My sister-in-law's husband, he was there, and we went someplace, and it was we were decided to stay there at night. So at night, a cousin of mine came to the Sandu of mine, and he said, "Paji, bahar jana." And he said, yes, indeed. And he got up, he put um, his leather jacket on, and run the comb through the hair, and got all ready. And he said to me, "You know, coming?" I said, "No, I don't want to go." And so when he came back, he was a little bit confused and furious. And I said, "What happened to you?" And he said, the guy took me. He said, "Bar jana." I thought, he's taking me to bar or a club or something. I said, "What do you mean, bar or club?" He said, "We are in a village, in a rural area. There's no such thing." But he said, "Bar jana." I thought he said bar. So there, the bar jana in Punjabi culture is completely different. So there are issues with the language and culture, but those are okay. Those we have to learn and grow and create compromises. Those are the challenges, physical, social challenges. But when these things comes in a frontier, and you have to label your Gurudwara under that, this is a Ravidas temple, or this is Ramgarhia, or this is Jatt Sabha, this is a Papianda Gurudwara. That's I'm sorry, hilarious, least stupid. There are going to be a problem. Two brothers in one house have a very different lifestyle. So they're going to have issues. They're going to have problems. So it is about us to learn about those problems and manage. That is the challenge. That's the purpose of life. But if we're going to start creating divisions further and further and further, that means we've never learned anything. These social problems, Jasveer Kaur, are going to exist. There is no easy way out of this. Education is. This is where Guru Nanak Sahib started his program of oneness. 239 years, and you became such an amazing and powerful beings. And again, that corruption came in. Was it brought into us? Um, by British? Yes, they did. They tried to create a division on the colors of your turban, on the caste system launched back in Sikhs were not so proud to be called, like Surinder Singh. They were now called about some, Singh started disappearing, something else came in. That is again is a corruption that we must need to address, because it will influence the way we are thinking, or we should avoid such a thing. So unity and a oneness is a key feature of Sikhi, and not Rangret or Jat or Khan, not getting classified with the style of your turban. My style on my head was a military tradition, in the after Ranjit Singh's time, but that doesn't say anything. I just decided to because of the sports I used to do early in my life. This was a safe turban in that way. I chose it like this, but it doesn't label me to be a particular type of a Sikh. Sikhi is just simple, learning from Guru. Let's not make it complicated. Learning from Guru how to be one, how to be human again, how to think simply and have a happy and healthy life. But where this complication comes from, and all of this corruption and viruses in our lifestyle. Look, we have virus, right? We're fighting with COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
either COVID will win, either we will. So if you're not trying, then you already lost. So we need to try again to live as closely we can what Guru have given it to us. We can't be Hindus and Muslims, and we can't be Sikhs separately. We are humans first,
Mm.
humanity first. Our practices. Why your religion is threatened by my practices? Why are you so insecure? I mean, you don't have a religion. That's why you're so afraid of me, right? You don't believe in what you believe in. You're shaken and threatened by my practices. That's where the fight comes. So we need to strengthen our belief system.
Right, but what about when that weakness exists within us? So we're talking about the Sikh community, and my concern is that these flawed social constructs are being passed down through generations.
Indeed.
When it comes to looking for, if your child is going to be getting married, people see what caste are they from. These things play a massive role in how we operate, even in the Sikh space. And that's what we talked about. You're talking about when the Amrit Sanchar happens and people turn the bata around because there's somebody of a lower caste who just drank before them. That is disgusting. We have Gurudwara that are, labeled according to caste. That is also disgusting. And when we perpetuate that, like when we're using our surnames, that breaks us away. When we're doing all of these different things to break the oneness, it's hard to see, like from my angle, where do we begin to reunite and reclaim that oneness?
Remember, just here, you were on my team. We went to Scotland, and you were like shocked when ladies were facing toward the wall in the Gurudwara. Remember? That the culture. Remember, when culture is at the front of your spiritual practices, of course there are going to be problems. And we are talking about equal rights in humans. When women are allowed to, according to the culture, in the Gurdwara, where Guru Amardas Maharaj Sakhi has not been taught to those communities who are culturally so like this, that there there was a king came in, to have a darshan of Guru Amardas Maharaj and his wives. Um, Three of his wives had a big whale, and Guru said, "Kamaliye, I mean, what is this madness that you came for darshan, you came to see me, and here there is a whale." And Putter, Guru to koi parda nahi. And Guru to kala parda? if you're gonna go to Gurudwara and still be like thinking like an animal, then what is the purpose to go to Gurudwara? Mother will teach us. My teacher and my grandmother. I can only share with you my practices. And dekh paraiya jaiya, mawa tiya pehna. That was the concept. That um, my teacher also the same thing. Gurdwara, you go to practice, you do go for a bandagi moment, at a time moment, where daughter and father and mother used to sit together. But then again, the division, you need to be ruled a particular way. If you see Jasveer Kaur back into um, Maharaja Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, his mother, Mata Jivan Kaur, used to be a regular kirtaniya at Darbar Sahib. Used to do kirtan with Saranda. And where did those trends go? Later on, those got changed. And there was a red carpet in between taking you're walking on red carpet to see the Guru Sahib, in the middle. And then here your family goes into two sides, female ek paase, male ek paase. Already we are in division. Then, of course, these sort of cultures going to give a birth to discrimination amongst the daughters, sisters, mothers, fathers, brothers, and husbands. Also, then the caste is inevitable, because our infrastructure, the basic spiritual infrastructure, have a corruption in it. It's just the practices we adopted. And if we demolish those practices and we go back prior to 1800, we will be amazing. So time
Right.
to reset, I would say.
I agree with you that we've got to reclaim that back, but everything that you're saying for our viewers and listeners can be quite daunting, right? Because we're saying that there has to be some sort of a reform, and I agree. If we were given oneness, if we know that Guru Nanak gave us oneness, abolished the caste system, gave us equality, and we've created the opposite, then yes, we have to do the hard work of figuring out how to dismantle and rebuild something that's better. But on an individual personal level, what could you share with our viewers, that where can we start on an individual level to try to make some reconnection back with that oneness and away from this separation?
I started from within me. I started trying to create a oneness between my mind, body, and soul. Every single time I got up early morning and my mind said, "Oh, 5 minute ਹੋਰ," I try to bring a harmony, a better way of communication, a oneness, so there was no tug and roll. And when then I was in a good space, I never saw my daughters any less than me, or my wife, or my mother, or my grandmother. You know, humans. I try to remind myself what my guru said. That we are manas, we are humans. Small things. You know, I I don't. I try to not look into bad stuff, or you know mm, there are always going to be issues in Sikhs. I was in trouble this year in 1989, and one of the guy who was in a lead in a torture room was Amritari. But if I say, "Oh well, Amritari did this to me," and well, Sikhs are like this, that's a silly of me labeling it. So a person who practice personally can be materialistically, physically in a very different culture or different job. So I must, where I need to differentiate, I'm not. And I'm differentiating on the color. That is, I'm going to end up losing. Your color gives you no privilege. Your society, you manipulate it, and that privilege is going to disappear. And then, when you have a headache, you're going to have to get up and have a medicine and do something so you're not in pain. And therefore, it is time for us. I did it like this. I made not big goals for me. I made simple. small goals. I started with myself.
mm,
Is it possible for me? I started from myself, then from my home, then I went to my neighbors. And I am still in that practice.
mm,
Society doesn't help much, but I try my level best to make sure that those corruptions are not allowed in my life.
mm. Thank you. That's beautiful. And I think I'd like to share with our viewers that the small things that we can do is we can change our language. When somebody around us is saying something that is derogatory to another person, a gender, or to a caste, that we have to call that out. We have to say that's not okay. Because the moment that you stay silent, you become part of the problem. You are complicit in that behavior. You are encouraging that behavior. And if you are not in support of those things, then you have to make that clear to yourself and to the environment that you're in, to the people who might be encouraging those negative thought patterns. If we want to make a change, we have to make ourselves uncomfortable. We have to do the things that are difficult to make that change. First change could be, do you use your surname? How do you identify with that? Is it a key part of you claiming your caste? As a parent, would you be okay with your child marrying out of caste? These are things that you can reflect on. How do you feel about Gurudwara that are separated according to caste? So these are just some thoughts that I want to leave you with as viewers to just think about and navigate through this space. Yogiji, I'd like to thank you so much for a wonderful show today. Thank you for all of the wisdom. And I'm looking forward to our show next week.
Satkartar.
Satkartar.